Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Vanguard newspaper. The major story here, hardship. Police protest organizers dig in. The riders there be cautious, canned as the Christian Association of Nigeria warns federal government protest organizers. Obi, that's the Labour Party presidential candidate at the last presidential election, backs planned protest, says hunger, hopelessness as sponsors. Stop criminalizing, politicizing protests, Lukman tells Tinubu. Police defend request for details, cite security concerns. Panic over planned protest, worrisome Utomi. Ignore Adebanjo Afenifere. Not in support of protest, says Fasoranti's faction. Telcos debunk allegation of plans to frustrate #End Bad Governance protest. And quickly, another story here. Abuja politicians behind banditry killings in Benue. Governor Alia is saying that. Shortage. Fuel prices rise 21% to 850 naira per litre as marketers shut stations. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Today's Nigeria newspaper now. Anxiety grips nation over planned protest. Shunned demonstrations. Christian Association of Nigeria tell Christians apply properly to use FCT facilities, not social media application. Wike is saying, that's the FCT minister. We must have identities of organizers, police insist. Obi supports peaceful protest. Oti, it will be hijacked. Amnesty once again threatening protesters. Tributes trail Ifeanyi Uba's passing. A sad one there. Cost of governance, Nigerians divided over part-time legislature. Lawyers, varsity dance, activists speak. Let's go for unicameral system. No lawmaking is serious business. Maintain full-time legislature, but cut down salaries, allowances. Some stories on the front page of this Nigeria newspaper. To the New Telegraph now. Still talking about the August the 1st youth rage. Government at crossroads as tension rises over planned hardship protest. The riders there, security concerns, reason we need organizers' details. That's what the police is saying. Telcos trying to frustrate protests by restricting internet access at Digborua, although telcos have come out to debunk that. Senator Kalu, protest justified, but there's hunger, but protest not solution. DGNOA has said that. Hunger, hopelessness, feeling clamor for action. That's what Peter B is saying, says protest within ambit of law constitutional. Nigeria's private jet ownership rises to 157 from 44 in 20 years. That's what the task force is saying. It says illegal operators undermine security as government loses revenue. At the downstrip here, it says swallowing chewing gum can raise health risk. As a study there you might be interested in. And Nigeria, US sign MOU on investment, commerce. We brought you that story earlier. Some stories on the front page of the New Telegraph. To the Salient Times now. And they're still talking about the hardship protest, demanding for details of organizers is standard procedure, police reply critics. The story that has been making the rounds since yesterday, Kenneth Okonkwo, a mole who just exposed himself. That's what Labour Party is saying. Says others will be exposed, fumigated, out. Recall that Kenneth Okonkwo decided to leave Labour Party formally yesterday. Another story here. Refinery saga, NNPC supplies insufficient crude oil, Dangote alleges. Interesting development there. All right, to the Daily Times now. Proposed nationwide protest. Why we demand details of organizers, the police is saying, says Nigeria Police holds responsibility to ensure that any activity does not pose threat to national security. Threatening protesters undermines Tinubu's legacy. Amnesty International is quoted as saying that, saying no to protest Kalu Council's constituents Abians Ndigbo, as Tinubu gets standing ovation for signing that's the Southeast Development Commission bill into law. Some stories on the front page of the Daily Times. To the Abuja Inquirer. Protest area, 72 hours to 0 hour. Tinubu governors, others in last-ditch effort to stave off protest. Security ramped up nationwide. Organizers dig in. Some stories on the front page of the Abuja Inquirer. To the Daily News Hub. Finally, P2B identifies with hashtag #EndBadGovernance. Governance. Throws weight behind planned nationwide protest, warns security forces against overzealousness during protest, says protest is allowed globally, urges would-be demonstrators to be law-abiding, civil in manner, identifies hunger, hopelessness as sponsors of protest. And gunmen attack Borno police station, kill inspector. At the corner here, Edo APC planning to rein in PDP supporters with federal might, group alleges. Some stories on the front page of the Daily News Hub. To the Nigerian News Direct, economic hardship, P2B backs August the 1st protest, says protest is allowed globally. Decries hunger, hopelessness among youth under Tinubu's government as Governor Adeleke invites organizers, stakeholders for dialogue, channel energy into ballot, not protest. Kwankwaso tells Nigerians. Inspector General of Police orders tactical commanders to prioritize public safety. And still to the front page of the First News newspaper, the major story here, nationwide hunger fuels unrest, P2B backs planned protest, urges lawful demonstration. And at the top corner there, Kenneth Okonkwo slams P2B, you lack leadership and support for Labour Party. And Tinubu's daughter to Lagos traders, no protest, don't allow your children get killed. The downstrip there, Amnesty International once again threatening protesters, urges democratic conduct. Olamide.
I begin here with the Blueprint newspaper. The major story here says the August 1 protest fast engages youth. GNI 6 dialogue, Ohaneze urges stay off. The writer there says allow Tinubu fix decade-long systemic rot. Party Abdul Razak. Others say Adeleke Nasarawa speakers. Others urge ceasefire. Labour Party tackles Okonkwo over resignation, says more moles will be exposed. Another story here says Sarap sues CBN over missing 100 billion naira dirty notes. Discos remits 1.7 billion naira in 3 months. That's according to the NERC. And multi-billion-dollar investment underway in aviation industry. Kiamo says. The major stories on the front page of the Blueprint. To Business AM, analysts worry over outcomes of #EndBadGovernance protest. Economy put on edge. Trillion naira losses if protest becomes violent. Travel to become more expensive. Well, that's the major story on the front page of the Business AM. To the Punch. On the protest, US, UK, Canada issue security alert. Traders fear looting. Foreign missions foresee violence as federal government will be defer. And protest sponsors. Fuel rises to 1,300 naira per litre as depots run dry. And only NNPCL can buy Dangote petrol. Another story here says telcos begin final mass disconnection. That's on the SIM NIN linkage. Federal government scholarship beneficiaries' rights minister faults 56% funding cuts. The major stories on the front page of the Punch. To the leadership, NERC limits the federal government financial exposure to power sector with NBET's exit. And the headline here says 14 northern states grapple with abandoned federal roads. Motorist Resident Act federal government to end nightmare. Tinubu Umahi committed to fixing them, says controllers. Kaduna, Kebbi, Taraba, Zamfara have least abandoned highways. Federal government executing 18 road projects in Kwara State. Sanwo-Olu Amuka Oshoba address media survival strategies. That's on page 10 of the leadership. And 12 listed firms pay 122.1 million naira fines for account filing default. Federal government may ban British Airways from Lagos on the alleged Barca Bridge. It's according to Kiamo. And once again, Supreme Syrup sues the CBN over missing 100 billion naira dirty notes. Others. Major stories on the front page of the leadership to the Platform Times. A special report here says pregnant mothers serve jail term with infants in congested facilities inside Ogun prisons. Rather, there says expectant mothers jailed for unpaid debt. Over 15,000 naira debt. Man served for 12 years. Allegation not true. We have reduced congestions with a new initiative, the prison PRO is saying. Another story here says Afeniferi's leadership rift deepens as Fashionati faction opposes Adebanjo-backed protests. Insurgents plan to exploit protests for heinous acts. Yobe CP warns. Tragedy in Ekiti as husband fatally stabs wife over alleged infidelity. And NDLEA arrests a lady supplying ammunition to bandits, seizes large quantities of drugs. The major stories on the front page of the Platform Times. To the Guardian, 2 years after PIA, NNPCL struggles with over $5.3 billion loan, JV debt, commercialization. Obi names sponsors as CPPE wants a 400 billion daily loss to economy. Bandit attack Borno police station, kill, loot armory. Support Dangote refinery to reduce petrol scarcity. Ex-NDIC MD tells regulators. And outcry as telcos borrow lines days to SIM N9 deadline. The major stories on the front page of The Guardian. To the nation, 6 months of steady economic progress under President Tinubu. Capitalization, 5 banks and capital market to raise 1.26 trillion naira. Investors get huge opportunity to expand scope. Leave Lagos out of it. NLC tells protest promoters. Kenneth Okonkwo dumps Peter Obi, Labour Party. 2 killed in Boko Haram's attack on police station. And outside Nigeria, Kamala Harris' campaign raises $200 million in 1 week. Interesting. The major stories on the front page of The Nation. To the Daily Independent, 70% of forex gains stocks shows the federal government's lack of creativity. Analysts are saying there. Peter Obi urges protesters to act within the law, be civil. Southeast monarchs seek Nnamdi Kanu's release, rejects protest, push for 2 more states for geopolitical zones. Benue governor accuses Abuja politicians of sponsoring, supporting bandits. Syrup sues CBN over failure to account for 100 billion naira dirty notes. Others. Well, these are the major stories on the front page of the Daily Independent. To the national economy, cash-strapped states waste billions on unprofitable airport. Only 5 airports in Nigeria are viable. Federal government's windfall tax may stifle investment, PwC wants. A cycle of monopoly in Nigeria's downstream markets. That's on page 19 of the national economy. These are the major stories on the front page of the newspaper. Well, to the Nature News, Lagos, Gombe, Ebonyi, best state in climate governance. Oyo, Kano, Zamfara rank lowest. Oil producing communities berate NNPC IOCs over Dangote refineries feedstock. Taraba government, Nigerian army collaborate on greening initiative to combat climate change. Heavy rains, floods wreak havoc in Taiwan, China and Japan. And in Africa here, over 3,000 donkeys risk death from plastic pollution in Kenya. The major stories on the front page of the Nature News. And finally, on the Sporting Life, 100 most valuable players in the world. Osimhen joins 16th with Kane, Camavinga and Tremeni. No agreement yet between Real Madrid, Bayern Davies says. Chelsea to offload 12 players this summer. Another story here says Falcons will bounce back to winning ways, according to Ajibade. Adeyemi's agent pushes for Juve move, and Guardiola addresses Man City's future. Veronica.
Interesting. I believe that our viewers have